All right, let's do this. We're going to go live. I'm going to write some words. All right. Got the fan blowing on me. It's fucking 80 degrees out. Crazy. Cray with a Z, capital Z. Set everything up. Rolled in a little late, which is fine. My nose itches. Not as fine. Charge my phone. Charge my watch. Let me charge my psychic batteries. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Time to get positive. Find your inner chakra. I don't even know that's an actual thing. I'm positive I did not take all of the pills this morning. I gotta do that. Positive about that. I'm also positive I'm going to write a new short story today, or start one. Because you know why? Why not? Chad Lutsky says, afternoon, buddy. What's up, buddy? Well, afternoon, 3 minutes. Yeah, it's still morning. It's still definitely morning here. I mean, you can see by the way the sun is. You know what? I'll accept afternoon. I'll take it. I think we're close enough we could all be comfortable saying afternoon. At 10 o'clock this morning, maybe not so much. 4 a.m. this morning, maybe. Otherwise, no. It's a positive day. I'm trying to be positive. Happy Friday, Charlie says. That's how you do it, Chad. You don't say good morning, good afternoon. You just say happy Friday because it's Friday all day. All day today is Friday. I'm going to start a new short story today. Just because why not? Because I had an idea on my way home this morning. That's right, I left the house today for my annual once a month go to the Southern Blend coffee place. And I had some coffee. Hung out with Andrea and Wynn. Charlie says it's not quite 11 for me, so still morning for me. With that, he sneaks into the number one spot. You boys are clever. I had some coffee. I also had a breakfast burrito with salsa. Delicious. I can never make a burrito at home. I can never fold it right. Once in a while, I get lucky. And I'm like, well, I'm putting too much into this, or I'm not putting enough into this. No matter what the ratio is, I can't get it. But they make them pretty good. Chad says, in preparation for finishing up the second Neon Owl, I'm rereading the first. Haven't read it since it was published 6 years ago, and I don't mind saying it's written really well. Kind of surprised myself. It's a good book. Yeah, when I was doing Permafrost, which is a uh, sequel to the Dying Day zombie series, set 30 years in the future, and it actually, I think it will be out. Where is it? Yeah, that actually should be coming out next month if I get all the edits. I got all the edits back. I got all the beta readers. I got edits, so I just got to go through it a few times. But I'm like, how did that ninth and last book even end? I had to literally read like the second part of that book and take notes to figure out like which characters survived and which one might which could be alive 30 years later, and how did we how did we stop the zombie apocalypse and blah 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 blah. And I read it and I'm like, you know what? This was not a great book. This is written like 10 years ago or more. Not a great book. I mean, it sells well. But again, as people know, I'm no Chad Lutsky. Chad says, "Hey Keith." Oh, Keith isn't. Happy Friday, people. Like the song. Chad says, "I don't like reading my stuff after it's done because I always find stuff I want to change, but this doesn't like that. It has me all fired up to finish the second. I just need to find that same voice." Excellent. Again, I love that story. I love that book. So I'm looking forward to reading it. When you do the cover for it, though, don't put the deer crossing so close to the turn. It's very dangerous. Keith says, "God help me, I wrote 500 words on another Bigfoot story this morning. Can't this get this glued out of my head? You know, you might have a Bigfoot series on your hands, on your feet." Chad says, "Actually, the cover's been done for years. It has the same Venetian blind style, but with a van instead of an owl. Nice." Again, looking forward to reading it. He said that's a lot of procrastination, Chad. Chad says, Keith, you ever read Hunter Shea? He's got a few Bigfoot books you might dig. Also, Armand Rosamilia has a couple of Bigfoot books that he will definitely dig. But yeah, Hunter Shea is the man at that. Chad says, Keith, I've got probably a dozen half-written books. Nearly half have great covers for them, and most will never be published. Which is a shame because the stuff you have put out over the years, Chad, are some of my favorite things. Boop, boop, boop. I got in my head, I have Push It by Salt and Pepper because on my way home this morning, flipping around satellite radio, and that was on the 90s at 9. And you got to listen to it. I mean, you gotta. Key says, "What are you writing today, Armin?" I actually just started a new short story. Spoiler alert: no Bigfoots. It's a crime thriller thing. I had an idea on my way home from the coffee place this morning. So you know what? I'll write a couple hundred words on it, kind of get it started. I know. You know what? You know, there's still time. I'm only 188 words into it, Keith. Maybe I'll just throw in a Bigfoot for no reason. Suddenly, there's a Bigfoot attack. He could show up. Red herring stuff. Exactly. My God, we're a crime thriller story. Bigfoot just attacked. Oh, but he's not the reason anybody's gonna die. He just makes a cameo. He runs through the trailer park kind of thing. Chad says, appreciate that, man, but some are just things that I can't see myself finishing, like one called Manson Family Arcade. Yeah, you would need a lot of quarters for that. Chaz, it takes place in the 80s where Charles Manson owns an arcade and the girls run it. He tries recruiting nearby high school kids in Southern California, and I rewrite Manson history. It's a coming of age. that might be a hard sell. But someday I hope to read it. I'm sure the cover of it is fantastic. The cover is fantastic. Charlie says, kill your mom and daddy. Oh. Charlie says, can Detective Bigfoot solve the mystery and catch the Trailer Park serial killer? Exactly. Keith asks, does the Manson story lose anything by changing the name, Chad? I would change it to Keith Gueva, which is the proper way to say it. Well, it takes away the ridiculous novelty if I take Manson out. That is true. What if you did another serial killer? You know, Ed Gein loves arcades. Kemper, that guy loved arcades. Big Pac-Man fan. Chad said, Detective Bigfoot. I'd read that. Keith, get on it. Yep. With or without underwear? I think you got to put underwear on. If he's a detective, he probably enjoys wearing underwear. I don't know. I mean, it's your character. I mean, I guess do what you think is right. I can't tell you how to write your Detective Bigfoot stories. And then what's going to happen? Keith is going to write these and make millions of dollars. Never talk to any of us again. Charlie says, give him one of those Sherlock Holmes caps. Yeah. Bigfoot, like just naked Bigfoot with one of the Sherlock Holmes caps and maybe a pipe. Because he really doesn't have to have any weapon. I mean, he is the weapon. Cozy Bigfoot, make millions. Keith, show us how it's done. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But put the Bigfoot on the cover, like every one of those cozy mysteries where it has like a bakery or something, right, in the background, and then they put like a cat or a dog, and it almost looks like it's just clip art of a cat and dog just sitting like hovering in the air in front. Just does not work. So have Bigfoot real small hovering in front of the bakery where he obviously works when he's not detectiving. He says, I have two ridiculous so far for my current cozy Bigfoot. You know what? 7 times the charm. Ain't that what they say? I'd imagine Bigfoot erotica has already been done. So I think you'd be late to the game for that. A solid Bigfoot romantasy would not be bad at all. Just as he owns Bigfoot, Bear Claws, and Brews. Detective by day, quilter by night. Well, I would read that. Trying to go through some of my emails too since I was out all morning. Bigfoot in the case of the killer granny. Yeah. And then you make the covers like the old Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys covers. But with Bigfoot. Somebody has a hard time finding work because nobody thinks he exists. Yeah. He doesn't show up for the interviews. Can't get this Salt and Pepper song out of my head. Just keeps playing over and over and over. And then over again. I'm so fat. I got an email from the Girl Scout cookies. They're talking about this year's Explore Moors, their newest cookie. But when we tried to find them, nobody had them. Keith says, I migrated to Blue Sky today to try and keep the feed to writing. Yes, Frank. Positive Friday went right down the toilet when I saw that B on your head. You know what? Positive. We're going to do better than the Yankees this year. Positive. Chester, you ever wake up to a song in your head you haven't heard in 20 years? What's up? Yeah. I'm like, was this in a dream? The worst is when I wake up at like 2:00 in the morning to go to the bathroom for my first of 10 times. And then I'm in there and that song is playing in my head. And then I lay down and I just can't stop. I can't go to sleep because I'm over and over I'm listening to it. I had that the other day with Overkill, United We Stand. That song. Just the opening part over and over and over. And I'm like, oh, enough already. Frank says, but then I saw that kiss on your shirt and I feel a tad more positive. This Salt and Pepper one is not going to go away. Yeah, man, I love your To Catch a Smuggler shirt. Space terms, that's about 1 million miles. Yeah. I go to the donut shop, the coffee place this morning. Met with Andrea and Wynn. Nice couple hours we hung out. When I got there, there's like half the place. There must have been like 30 guys all sitting around filling up half the booths and the tables in the middle, right? So I walk to the counter and I'm like, oh great, I'm not gonna be able to find a seat because there's this old guy. There's like a group of 3 double tables against the wall. So you have a bench and you have 2 tables and then 2 chairs. So I know we can't have just this two chairs, but some old guy sitting right in the very middle of the 3 blocks. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go sit with him but I get up there, all the donuts are gone. It's not even 9:00 in the morning. Already they've sold out of all their donuts. And I'm like, I wanted a dozen donuts. And she's like, yeah, sorry. Some woman came in and bought like 4 dozen donuts. And I'm like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Or she should have to call ahead. Like I was getting annoyed. I did get my breakfast burrito though, and my coffee. And then I went and I sat right next to the guy, but at the next table. Like he was sitting, I just sat down right next to him. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. But as I'm walking back, all these guys, they apparently were having a fellowship meeting. So it's guys, I guess they're all from the church or whatever nearby, and they were all sharing their stories about basically what being a man is really about is kind of the vibe I got from them. But they were all staring at me, like they all just stopped and they're just staring at me, and I wanted to I really wanted to go, yeah, knights in Satan's service. Like, what are you staring at me for? Because you're not staring at me like, oh, he's wearing a Kiss shirt. They're not staring at me like, oh, he's a Red Sox fan. They're staring at me like the devil just walked into our midst, kind of thing. Chad with the callback. Frank says, when you're with Win, you can't lose. No, you can't. Don't know who Win is. Is it spelled Nagoyan? No, Win, W-I-N. It's Winfield, I believe. Winfield. What time was this? This was at 9 o'clock this morning. Winfield, like the Dave. Yeah, Dave Winfield. It literally is Dave Winfield. We call him Win. It was 9 o'clock this morning. I got there 8:45. All the donuts were already gone. Winfield is a cool name. Not the Wins that I've met. Frank says it is. I knew a woman. I worked with a woman years ago, back in the late 80s, when I worked for Sears, and they called her Winnie, and her name was Winifred. I wish I knew a Wink, like a Wink Martindale. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to hit the cookie finder. My Girl Scout cookies. I guess this is a thing. You can find out where all the well, they'll be there. They're there today. Sam's Club. Oh, the Walmart over here. Well, so they have a troop set up at the grocery door and at the Walmart at the home door. You are not getting out of Walmart without buying some cookies. Tomorrow they're on Publix on Dunn Avenue, the Sam's Club. Nice. My wife's going to be like, no. They're at Harold's Meat Market next Saturday. You know, Girl Scout cookies used to be you knew somebody that sold Girl Scout cookies. You know, you had a kid in school and they're like, hey, Sally's selling Girl Scout cookies. Like, I'll take 100 boxes. They're $2 a piece. Now they're like $6 a piece. All right, good to know. You know what? I'm not gonna delete that. Chez is gonna use it for a pseudonym, Winfield Winklebottom. I think that was Shawn Michaels, the wrestler. I think that's his real name. Winkletzky. that does have a horrible ring to it. That's why Frank loves it. Meat and cookies. Yeah. Harold's Meat Market, and we can get some more Thin Mints. I still actually have a box. I ate one box. My wife has not touched her cookies. It drives me nuts. She likes to dosey-dose. And she'll literally just hold on to those 2 boxes for like 6 months. What's the point of that? Why not buy 100 boxes and eat a box every day? That makes more sense to me. I got a lot of emails here. I got my email down to 7 yesterday. 7 emails. That's it. I mean, I got a lot that I've read that are I probably could go through and delete 100. I don't have some people. Oh, I got 4,000 emails. Yeah, why don't you go through those? Because I'm sure most of those are garbage emails. You don't have 4,000 legitimate emails that you have to answer. Calm down. But now I have 84 right now, which is way more. I like to get it under 50. but 7 is always better. That's because I really haven't sent out. I think 4 of those are stories I'm waiting on. Frank says, I'm not sure if our cookies are in or not. They probably are. I always love finding a random sleeve of Thin Mints 6 months after cookie season's ends. Yeah. Usually in the back of the freezer. Like, you know what? They're not that freezer burnt. They still taste kind of like a Thin Mint. I also, when I do my mail, I do this thing where it has to be like right now I'm at 80. Like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna get back to writing, and then when I go back in, I'm gonna get it down to 75, and then 70, and so on and so forth. And none of that might make any sense to you, but to my insane brain in the membrane, it does. Sent you that Manson cover, Armin. Ever have the Thin Mint ice cream? Yes. Would you send it to me on, Chad? On Facebook? Because I don't have Facebook open. All right, let's see this thing. Yeah. You could put any serial killer in this, and it would just be Geen Family Arcade. You know what I'm saying? Zodiac Killer Arcade. You gotta write that though. All right, now I'm gonna get off of Facebook though because I just don't want Facebook. It's a positive day. Did Manson cover Manson? Just as, but it's better when you have an entire cult running it. So Jim Jones Arcade. The dude who took the people up in spaceships and everybody got killed. Chet says mint is one of those things you get in the mood for. Eat it, then you're good for like a year. Now I like mint. In fact, right now in my Vortex books and comics, I'm drinking a chocolate chip mint coffee from Friendlies. I'm a big fan of mint. Just don't add like mint in my food, like drinking it or like ice cream. I'm mostly talking mint chocolate chip ice cream. I literally, as a kid, that was my dad's favorite. So my dad would always buy like a couple of half gallons of it. And then when that Ben and Jerry's had their like chocolate chip mint with giant pieces of chocolate chips in it, then I would buy that. That back when they were like $1 a thing, not $18. Who has a Crystal Lake Patreon? I want to see what the comments are under my story. Yeah, I don't. I guess they haven't. I guess it's still running. Chad says, "Let me see if I still do, Frank." I don't. I don't have one. Charlie. Oh yeah. So look up Charlie Charlie Walls as well because he had a story in that as well. I wonder if they're gonna tell me ahead of time. Probably not. No, I can't see it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm sure people are making comments and whatnot. Sorry. Sorry, Maisie. I woke you up. Time out of your busy day. She eats her food so fast and then she throws up. So she threw up twice yesterday in the kitchen, luckily on the floor. So then I had to gag and clean it up. I'm telling my wife when she got home last night, I'm like, yeah, the cat threw up twice. And then I go to bed, and she had also thrown up all over the window in my bedroom. And we have like the what do you call it that they sit on? The hell do you call that? Search with an H. They're like the things in the window, the little things. And then she threw up all over that and all over the window. Why can't I think of what that thing is? Like you tie it between two trees, you lay in it, and there's coconuts behind you. Holy crap, is my mind a mess right now? What is that called? Somebody help me. Hammock, thank you. Goodness. So we got the cat hammocks in like 1, 2, 3, 4 windows in the house. Yeah. No, it's a hammock. It attaches to the sill. So she threw up all over the hammock, all over the window. And I'm like, I'm not cleaning this. You're home. These are your cats. This is your thing now, sister. I don't call her that. Oh, do the Jay Wilburn. Listen up, woman. Pets are such a, especially when you didn't want pets and now you have 3 of them. You went like 10 years without having any pets. You and Shelly's other 3 pets. That's what I say to my wife, and then I'll ask if she wants a black eye. And she laughs at me, yeah. We watch a lot of investigation discovery shows, so our thing is always I'm like, you want me to show you how much I love you? I will go get a butcher knife. Because we watched an episode once where the lady stabbed the guy with a butcher knife. and nearly killed him. She stabbed him like near his neck. She tried to go for his neck, and she like stabbed him right here. And then basically they're still together, of course, because his thing is she loves me so much, she was willing to try to kill me so I wouldn't be with another woman. And I'm like, you know what? That's love right there. That is love. And I always say to my wife, what we have, obviously not that level of love. The other night when we were doing the puzzle, we're still doing the jigsaw puzzle. We'll probably finish it tonight, hopefully. Um, we were just talking shit back and forth to each other. And then I laughed and I was like, imagine somebody comes in and sits for 5 minutes and listens, and they would think we hate each other. Just like some of the mean, stupid, like just not mean like real, like we're really pointing, like just over the top, dumb things to say to each other, you know? Is her name Sharon Osbourne? I'm going to use my back scratcher. I was like, oh, maybe somebody will pay for. Oh, this is a different. I'm going to tell you what, though. I am enjoying YouTube Live. I like the fact that you can't see what I'm doing. So, like, I can check my emails. I can do some edits. I can write on various different stories. I can do other things. I can like, oh, let me check on the baseball rumors. Oh, let me see how bad the Yankees are going to do this year. That's that kind of stuff. Some games start. Some spring training games start today. I'm very excited about. Take it out of my Twitch account. Yeah. Monday I will be back on the Twitch thing. Monday, my StreamYard resets, so I will be back on Monday to do YouTube Live and Twitch. So, but obviously, I hope everybody comes over here. But you sign into Twitch to resubscribe because I need that $25 a month. Yep, Yankees Orioles 105 today. One of the 5 games. The Red Sox are playing the Northeastern University like they do. I'm very excited. Earl Weaver's O's. That was an O's team. You know what I'm saying? Earl Weaver running out there and yelling at the umpire and saying, "Throw me out of the game, Bill. Throw me out of the game." Like, Earl, go sit down. I'm not going to throw you out of the game. What do I need to do to get thrown out of this game? Earl, why do you want to get thrown out of the game? To show my boys I got some fire in me. Let's go. Earl, I'm not gonna throw you the game. Oh, really? Because I slept with your wife last night. Earl, you son of a, you're out of here. And he'd be like, thanks, Bill. I'm identify the O's with Earl Weaver, not Cal Ripken Jr. years old. Yeah. Oh, Cal. I'm know the Yankees not by Judge, but by Mike Pagliarulo. That's how old I am. Bucky Effendent. I hate that guy. Punch that guy in his nose. Pow. I gotta read some more Jim Thompson books, I think. I'm getting emails about how they can help the Lunch Ladies Book Club podcast, which hasn't been around in, I don't know, 7 or 15 years. No thanks. We're good. Or Aaron Boone, the poor, yeah. Ugh. You're trying to hurt me, Frank, and you're doing a good job. The worst part about that game was I was watching it with my mother and my brother, who are both Yankees fans. In my house, because they had just moved down. My brother lived there, but he was living with us. And my mother and father had just moved down from New Jersey, and they were staying with us for a couple weeks. And everybody was like crashed out in the living room. So I was like, I'm going to the bedroom now. And then everybody was goofing all over me. My mom's like, wow, this reminds me of when you were 16, game 6 with the Mets. Do you remember that? I'm like, screw all you people. Get out of my house. It could return. Stranger things have happened. I keep getting all the book newsletters, and this one's Haunted by the Viking. It's free. A Saxon lady, a Viking warrior. Captivity forces Myra and Rolf together, where desire grows dangerous and loyalty may cost them everything. Guess if you're into romantasy, that's a good one, right? I would imagine that's got to be a good one. I'm down to 60 emails now. Back to my story. There's a, I don't know if I've mentioned the hot dog lady yet. There's a hot dog lady that sets up in Yulee. And she was there this morning when I was coming back from breakfast. And she is she's not fat. She's a bigger girl, but she's just like 6 foot, and she has very huge tracts of land. And she's wearing she usually wears a low cut top and super tight jean shorts. Blonde, big blonde. Yeah, the hot dog lady. And what's his name? Chad Hoey sent me a message. Let's see if I can find it from the Ho Dog. I don't remember which one he sent it in now. That's the problem. I know this is probably very exciting for all of you watching me do this. I don't know. Anyway, she has an account on all the socials. Yeah, she really is selling hot dogs and sausages. And she shoots like videos of her. And of course, she's like, look at these hot dogs. These are only $5, whatever it is. But then, of course, she knows what she's doing. She got the little card out there. But anyway, he sent me a video. He's like, hey, this lady's near Yulee. You know who this is? And I said, yeah, I every once a month when I go on Friday, I will pass by, and there's always a huge line of people, obviously guys. And I showed this a couple of nights ago, I showed my wife, and she was like, oh, she's probably making a lot of money. I said, oh yeah, I'm sure she's killing it because she's right near by a main highway and also where all the trucking companies are. So she probably got a ton of guys showing up. I said, in a totally unrelated thing, I need some cash. And she's like, I don't think so. Anyway, I went by it this morning, and there was literally, I'm going to say there were 30 guys in line. I mean, she parks in front of a gas station, like on the road. And the line was literally down. I'm like, what's going on here? As I drive, I'm like, oh, she was wearing a black top and little jean shorts today with her hair pulled back. Like, this chick is killing it. I think she has a YouTube channel as well. Chaz says B-52s is in my top most hated bands, right alongside Smash Mouth and that whining entitled singer for Sugar Ray. Frank says, but Chad, Rock Lobster. I'm also not I'm not a B-52s fan, but the women in it, I do love their voices. And Rome, that song I like. You know what I don't like? I don't like, what is it, Fred Schneider? I can't stand him. I can't stand that guy. Like, his voice, I would punch him in the nose if I saw him walking around Athens, Georgia. But I do like that song. And Smash Mouth, except for the Walking on the Sun, whatever that song was, everything else on that album, I actually like. It's got some really decent punk aesthetics to a lot of their songs, but not all the hits. Here's Chadwood talking about Dead Horse from Texas again. Frank says Rome, also a banger. Frank he will listen to it, and he will let you know if it sounds like Parasite or not. On my way home, flipping around, besides hearing Salt and Pepper, I also heard Stupid Girl by Garbage. I'm like, you know what? I like this song. It's not a bad song. I hated it when it came out, back in the day, but then I hated everything like that back in the day. Now I'll probably have that in my head. Frank says I could do without garbage. Again, it's like that song and that other one song are the only two songs I like from them. I don't love them, but I also don't hate them or turn them off. I don't even remember what the other song was now. And I could do without a lot of garbage. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we're talking about the same thing anymore. Chet says, yeah, speaking of Manson, not a fan of that chick from Garbage. Shirley Manson? Surely you can't be serious. Frank says, if the Cranberries were awful, they'd be garbage. See, and I already believe the Cranberries are awful. I don't even think I like a Cranberries song. Whereas I like two Garbage songs, which to you are garbage. My wife has like there's like 10 presets in the truck, and like 8 of them are country music ones. And I keep every time I got to go to just hit the button on the steering wheel and go through until I find something I like, which is the 3 channels that I listen to. So I guess it's 7 country and 3. I like Ozzy's Boneyard, Hair Nation, and the Lithium. The basically anything that sounds like Nirvana channel. But on the country ones, a lot of times like the whatever that chick's name is, that one American Idol, the little blonde. She has a channel, and she plays a lot of Guns N' Roses and the Rolling Stones. So every now and then, I'm like, oh, she's playing November Rain for the 1000th time. No, thank you. I mean, I know she's probably not playing it. The channel is playing, but you know what I mean. And then I'm going through, and then they had that. She was playing the Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow song. I never liked this song. Chad says, I saw Shirley going on a wild, completely out of control rant about beach balls at concert last year, and that was it for me. Yeah, I know better than never say anything negative against beach balls with you, Chad, because I know how much you love beach balls. Frank says, I played some Anthrax this morning, which led me to play some MOD, which led me to play some Guar, which led me to play some Scatterbrain, which led me to play some Green Jello, which led me to play some Psycho Sticks. But then autoplay took over and I heard some Alanis. Makes perfect sense. It's almost like you were expecting at some point here, either before or after Psycho Stick, we're going to listen to some Alanis. So I get it. Next, Chad's going to tell you that Alanis is not a hardcore band like he thinks Biohazard is not a hardcore band. You need to go back full circle with some SOD. Yeah. Back to the beginning. What Anthrax did you listen to? The one with the great guitars and the awful lyrics? Oh, wait, that's every song. And I say this and I love the band. I had no reason to not to believe Scott Ian played on Jagged Little Pill, right? Everybody's like, oh, Dave Navarro. No, it wasn't Dave Navarro. Scott Ian. SOD would have been two on the nose. That is true. Doesn't Charlie write most of the lyrics? Yeah, and he also writes most of the guitar parts. At least he writes some good guitar parts. Lyrics are just, I don't know. Like growing up listening to Anthrax, and I'm always like, this is all right. And then you listen to it back. It's kind of like Motley Crue. You listen to some, and you're like, yeah, these lyrics are awful. You know, they're catchy to sing along to, but the reality is they're just dumb. Chet says he writes most of the moshy good parts. Yeah. I think I read Frankie Bello's book where he talks about, I think it was Frankie Bello book where they're cousins, and he basically talks about growing up when he was little and Charlie was playing guitar. Charlie was a great guitar player, but one of the first bands he joined, they needed a drummer. So he jumped over on drums. Demon, Gorgon. Yes. But I'll tell you what, like the song is freaking great. That's a great song. Except lyrically, meh. You were listening to Spreading. Yeah, I like Spreading the Disease. Among the Living is when I was like, eh. Frank says, Brother Frank. I hated when Shirley Manson joined Skid Row, though. I didn't think that was a good fit. Again, we still keep getting articles that are really not articles. They're just people trying to get people to like their articles about why Sebastian is not going to be the real truth of why Sebastian will never be in Skid Row again thing. Because they don't like money. Ches and Spreading and Among are nearly tied for me. By the time we got to Among the Living, I was just like, I mean, again, musically there's some good stuff on it, but Spreading for me was the high point. Frank says, got my foot pinned to the floor. You can feel the engine roar. Got thunder in my hands. Metal thrashing man. I mean, everything from that first album is those lyrics are awful, but Neil Turbin wrote all those. And the demo stuff, I remember getting all the demos, going and buying them from John Zazula and Marcia at the flea market, and listening to, like, there's one song was, I forget what the name of it is, but it's about gambling or something. It's when the stakes are high and the lights are low. That was like the opening line to whatever that stupid song was. I'm like, wow, that's bad. Frank says, I like Among a tad more. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure if I listen to them now, maybe I'll have a difference of opinion, but I won't listen to them. I like some of the John Bush stuff. Just not all of it. That's the problem. Just not all of it. I don't hate it. I'm just not like, hey, I'm going to put this on. Yeah, I think that was the name of it. And again, we had the conversation about what my generation called board shorts, or the dumb surfer shorts. Mom, can I get OP shorts? Oceans Pacific. What do you mean you already spent all that money, all that extra money on my parachute pants? Come on. You know what? Maybe later I'll listen to some Anthrax. I'll listen to both albums back to back, and I'll figure out which one I like better. How about that? Frank says you'll be all like every song on Stump 442 sounds like Parasite. Probably. Hmm. Just reading some MLB rumors now. Maybe I'll listen to both. But you know what? I can't. I don't know. They're both albums. Both albums are just they've aged well. They're phenomenal. But I'm going to ignore the fact that Scott and Charlie just keep firing everybody. You know what band I haven't heard about in a long time? Volbeat. Whatever happened to Volbeat? They were the big thing there for about 5 years. Chaz says, is trading still going on in MLB? Do they have full rosters for every team now? I mean, they have full rosters, but you still have a bunch of free agents out there. So technically, there still could be some moves, but for the most part, everybody's good. They might have a piece or two here and there, and you also got guys that get hurt. So Frank says, didn't they just put out a new album last year? Did they? Then I missed it. Let's look this up. The only thing that Dave Thomas ever said that was funny was when he went to see Volbeat, and he said all the what do you call it, bros were there. 2005, 2009, 10, 13, 16, 19. God of Angels Trust released the 6th of June, 2025. All right, I had no idea. Let me see what songs are even on this thing. Dom Lawson of Blabbermouth called it the heaviest and wildest Volbeat album to date. Ches says no, but they've been recording. Frank says, I want to like Volbeat more, but they keep songing about silly things like whales and stuff. Yeah. So there's a song on this God of Angels Trust called In the Barn of the Goat Giving Birth to Satan's Spawn in a Dying World of Doom. Okay. Demonic Depression, Devils Are Awake by a Monster's Hand, Acid Rain. So yeah, so they're getting very into that stuff. So right now, they're saying it's only the singer slash guitarist, the bass player, and the drummer. Because then that dude from Anthrax joined the band for several years and then I guess quit. They threw him out or something. Chaz, I thought we were talking about new Anthrax. Never listened. No, we were talking about. I literally said Volbeat. Frank says Halls of Saltambuca. I think that's the first album after What's His Head left. Yeah, What's His Head? In February 2013, Rob Caggiano, formerly of Anthrax, joined the band as second guitarist. And then in 2015, somebody left the band. Yeah, they've had a bunch of ex members. So basically, it's the drummer and the singer are the only two that have been in it forever. Should I just check the Tigers roster? I reckon there's no one except for Verlander. That's how long it's been since I've watched the game. New Anthrax is coming out in May, I think. Chaz says, "What did you guys think of Metallica's last record? I tried really hard to like it, but I just don't. I haven't liked the Metallica record in a long time. I just feel like they've run out of topics. They've run out of lyrics, and it used to be songs used to be about something, right? Master of Puppets. There's a story behind that. All those songs, and now they're just like, let's just throw some what we think are some cool lyrics together. And James, every third or fourth word, just go, yeah. Enough already. I mean, here's the thing: they're all very old men now. You know, good for them that they're even out there playing, and good for them that they play a lot of the old songs. Somebody was commenting about Def Leppard. I guess they're doing a residency, or they did a residency in Vegas, and basically complaining because they're only doing like songs from the last 15 years, and then their encore was like Photograph and Rock of Ages. Like that's it. Like you go to see the songs you like, and you got to wait till the end. But that's the crap like Iron Maiden does too. They're one part of their tour is literally, we're only gonna play all the new songs. Who wants to see that crap? Frank says, I really like If Darkness Had a Sun, maybe two or three other okay tracks off them. Yeah, if like listening to the Metallica channel on Sirius, I'm like, so these songs they're not bad, but they're not to the level that Metallica should be releasing songs. Charlie says, was 72 Seasons their last one? I remember kind of liking a couple songs, but nothing too great. Chad says, I've been trying to like Metallica records since the Black Album. It's a task. I don't hate them, but I'm not in love like I used to be. There are songs here and there that are great, though. Yeah, there are some gems, but you go back all the way until the Black Album, and every song was a phenomenal song. I would buy a Metallica album, put it on, and I would listen to the whole thing straight through and be like, this is brilliant. This is great. And then the Black Album came out, and there's a couple songs that have grown on me over the 30 years or more. But I'm like, but there's nothing really, there's no standout killer thing. And a lot of the songs, listening to the Metallica channel, a lot of these songs from the last, 20 years or so, I'm like, all they got the hard rock guitar. There's no crunchy Damage Incorporated songs, and it all sounds like the same riff over and over. Frank says Metallica used to set the trend in what metal sounds like. Now they just sound like Metallica. Yeah, yeah. Metal has passed them by in that respect. And the dudes are still killing it. They're still making money. There's still tons of tours, and they still understand, I think, we got to play a lot of these old songs. People are here for the 2 or 3 songs from the new album, but they're really here to hear some of that old stuff. And watching videos on YouTube from like the last tour or two. I mean, at least James can still hit those notes for the most part. I mean, I haven't been a fan since Ron McGovney was fired. Ooh. Uh-oh, that breakfast burrito. I'm starting to burp that up and tasting it. Better going down, my friends. Better going down. Also, this chocolate chip mint coffee, too. That's probably not a good mix. I messaged my wife and I was like, they're out of donuts. I'm here. It's 8:45. They're out of donuts. And she's like, no. And I said, yeah. And I'm like, everything will be closed by the time I leave here. And I got to rush and go do, I got to get YouTube Live. I'm like, you know what? There's a newer donut place that opened 5 miles from here. We need to get up early in the morning and go get some damn donuts. And she's like, all right, let's do that. And I know neither of us is going to get up. I know I'm going to be like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could get some donuts, but Hatfield can sing in Skid Row. Juliana Hatfield. They have that one. Juliana Hatfield has that one song I like, "Spin the Bottle," I think it's called, from the Reality Bites soundtrack or the Singles soundtrack. One of those soundtracks. That's a good song. I don't think I've ever heard any other song from them. So I overcorrected with the following people back on Substack, and now I just got tons and tons of Substacks to go through. Imagine if this fine Skid Row's new singer show is really a front for bringing Sebastian back into the fold. You know what? That would be amazing. But will it happen? No. You guys remember that reality show called Rockstar? That was awesome. Skid Row should do that. You know, they just might. Was that the one with Dave Navarro? Was it that one? There's probably a lot of people that are jumping in and out because I keep seeing the numbers go up and go down, and they're like, what are they even talking about? In the band was Jason Newsted, Tommy Lee, and Gilby Clarke. I enjoyed the show where they had Sebastian, Evan from Biohazard, the hardcore band, Ted Nugent, and Jason Bonham. I think that was it. And Scott Ian, of course. And then they recorded I guess they're supposed to record an album. They ended up doing like one song and playing a couple of gigs. Was it Damnocracy? Something like that. That was when back when Evan Seinfeld was married to Tara Patrick, and he was doing porn videos with her. That was a train wreck, and Baz was being a lot on that show. Oh God, yeah, yeah. He was like, "Oh, I got a camera in front of me again. This is why Skid Row doesn't want me back in the band. Let me show you." And at that point, Snake was watching. He was like, "Hey, maybe we'll get him back in the band." Oh no, no, no! Look what he's look at all the drama he's creating. Nope, I don't think so. YouTube is acting weird again. Armand skipped 3 of my comments in a row. I just chose to skip him, Chad. Actually, I didn't see him. Chad says they were looking for a singer. The album they recorded is actually pretty good. Savage Animal. Is that the name of the band? That's a stupid name. Yeah, I didn't see those. Chad says they're probably not showing up. It does that. Yeah, I didn't see this one. I'm just guessing what Chad was gonna say. No, Savage Animal was the band name Sebastian kept wanting to name their band. And he kept asking it over and over again. I thought it was Fist. Remember, he kept doing this Fist. There's 5 of us. Then they were like, that's the name of another band already. Frank said, let's face facts that it was a TV show, not a band. They hired Baz, and he gave them Baz. Exactly what they hired him to do. Oh, exactly. And it's like the whole premise was we're going to put these guys together for like a week or two, and they're going to write an entire album, and then they're writing one lame song. I also like that Ted Nugent was a complete dick as well, which was not surprising. Just that he goes Savage Animal. It just rolls off the tongue. Or Savage Animal. That's an awful name. That's the name that when you're in junior high, you name your band. There was a kid, what's his name? Sean Cap. And in junior high, he dyed his hair blonde. He looked really dumb, and he played guitar badly. And his band was Golden Dragon. something like that. Golden Dragon from Dungeons and Dragons. I always remember that thinking, even back then, even when I was like 15, thinking, well, that's a dumb name. Savage Animals sounds like a band that would want to put their log in your fireplace. Yeah. Savage Animal is a band when you look back at old flyers of shows from the 80s and you're like, oh, Bang Tango. And who opened for them? Savage Animal. Like 4 people showed up, their 4 girlfriends. And then the dude from Bang Tango ended up banging all 4 of the girlfriends. Frank says, I like a few Uncle Ted songs, but I enjoy him best in Damn Yankees. The only song I really like by Ted Nugent is Tied Up in Love. And I like the guitars in that. And I remember seeing the video back in the day. Damn Yankees, I don't know. I just really could not get into them. It seemed like a weird fit. Like all of a sudden, like you're watching the video and you're like, who's the old guy standing in the back with weird mirror sunglasses? That can't be Ted Nugent. Why is he hanging out with these guys? And I'm like, oh, Ted must have needed the money. Lorraine says, hi, jumped in the middle of you all talking about bands. I'll stand in the corner for a bit. Sorry, we get into these and then we start talking. 3 or 4 of us start talking about this stuff. We can't stop. Savage Animal only has 2 album cover concepts. Either a girl on her knees crawling towards them and I'll smell like the glove, or the whole band is shirtless and feeling all over each other. Yeah, I definitely can see that. I'm going to look something up real quick. Oh. So apparently, Damn Yankees did record a new album, but they would never release it, they said. Because by 1994, the record company wasn't into him. Ted Nugent revived his solo career. Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades recorded their own album as Shaw Blades in 95. Then they released another one in 2007 of cover songs from the 60s and 70s. Then they did a Christmas song. And then during a hiatus in both Night Ranger and Styx, Shaw and Blades met with Ted Nugent to record a new Damn Yankees album in 1999. The album, titled Bravo, failed to please either the band members or the prospective record labels. According to Blades, some of this unused material has since resurfaced on various group and solo albums of the band members. They said it will never come out, will always be the long-lost record. Little pieces have dripped onto our solo records. Ted's done 2 or 3 of them. It's been hard to figure it out. Like, oh yeah, that was one of our songs. It's pretty wild. That record will never see the light of day, but the ones that came out are the best of it. In 2004, at Alice Cooper's Christmas Pudding, they reunited on stage, playing 3 songs. They made a surprise appearance at the Nom show in 2010. 2011, Nugent joined Jack Blade's band Night Ranger to record an extended version of Coming of Age as a B-side for their album Somewhere in California. In place of its original solo, Nugent plays a version of the guitar solo from Stranglehold. Bartolone joined Night Ranger and performed Coming of Age in 2017. He said they are not finished. They never purposely disbanded and are keeping a reunion an open door to this day. Charlie says, I think Stranglehold is my favorite Ted Nugent song, but that's probably a lot I haven't heard. I also like Damn Yankees. Chad says Stranglehold is great. Chad says, never paid attention to Damn Yankees because I don't care for Styx. Lorraine says, yeah, Night Ranger. I loved Night Ranger back in the day. Chad says, apparently he asked Paul Rogers, but he had to pass because of health. Then there was rumor of him asking Robert Plant. I don't think either of those would make any sense. I skipped one, did I? Where? I don't see where I skipped. About Van Halen. I don't see anything about Van Halen. Where is Van Halen in this? If you posted anything that says Van Halen in it, Chad, I really don't see it. No, I don't see anything about it. So goofy. And then it'll like pop up 5 minutes from now, I guess. Copy and paste about the Van Halen thing. Now I want to know. Charlie says, don't like Van Halen? I don't know what Chad's trying to say about Van Halen. He's talking about the supposed new. Alex Van Halen said they have 5 albums worth of material that have been partially recorded. That they're gonna, he can put out 5 more Van Halen albums if he wants. With what's his name playing. Lorraine says YouTube has been dragging today with comments, not just here. No. I just typed it again. It's still not showing up. No, I don't know what. I keep going back. I'm like, maybe it'll just pop in. Maybe I'll go back even farther. No, I don't see it. That is really weird. Okay, so now it just showed up as news just came out that Alex Van Halen said there's an entire unreleased Van Halen album with everything but the vocals recorded. Then I talked about Paul Rogers. Oh, okay. Well, he said, I just read that he said he has 5 albums worth of material they recorded in 5150. And whoever I forget what his name, the guitar player, is re-recording some parts and putting some rhythm tracks down for it. I don't think Paul Rogers or Robert Plant especially would work unless you're doing one of those. You can have a bunch of guest singers on it because he won't play live because he refuses. He's never gotten on stage except if his brother is there. That's always his big thing. That's what Michael Anthony always talks about. They try to get him to do the tribute stuff. Chaz says the guy from Toto I guess he said he won't play a single note on any Van Halen album. He's just there to help produce and arrange. Oh, see, I heard he was doing rhythm tracks now. Frank says best Van Halen song, Pound Cake. Chad says Pound Cake is a great one. Um, what's that one Van Halen song now? I gotta look it up. There's a song that I really like. I mean, I like all Van Halen songs. There's nothing that I like completely hate. I've never really heard much of that Gary Sharon garbage, but I can't stand Extreme. Like that first album, I thought had some really good stuff on it, and then no. Don't tell me what love can do. I love the guitars in that. That I like. That probably might be my favorite, the one I always go to, and it's from Balance, and it's a Sammy Hagar song. But it's two. It's I mean, it's come on, it's two very different bands. I always like how Sammy Hagar always crapped on David Lee Roth lyrics, and I'm like, your lyrics weren't all that great either. Give me six on the half shell. That's a great line. Who wrote that for you? Paul Stanley. Lorraine says I'm probably going to get hate for this, but I didn't like Van Halen until Sammy Hagar. What? It's about the sound for me. Huh. See, I grew up on I grew up on Van Halen. I grew up on that David Lee Roth. I remember uh, I got my parents bought me a boom box for Christmas, and the first cassette they got me is because they knew my brother had told them that I wanted Diver Down, which had just come out. I was very excited. Charles says I like both David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar Van Halen. I like both too. Keith asked Lorraine, "Were you jealous of David's kicks?" You know what? That might have been the point right there. Him spinning his swords and stuff. Lorraine's like, "I can't do that. I'm out." I did think when Eat 'Em and Smile came out by David Roth, I thought that was a phenomenal album. But that was kind of like, let me put every single thing in this album that I have, and then and I mean some of the David Lee Roth stuff has some good. There's some really good songs on those albums. Chaz says I just refreshed chat. YouTube is only allowing half of my comments anymore. I guess it doesn't like that I think 5150 is the best Van Halen album. Apparently not. David was too campy for me, Keith. And yes, I wish I could kick like that. I think if we could all kick like that, we would be a lot farther in life than we are. Am I right? Lorenz says, I couldn't kick like that at 18, and now I'm too geriatric. Nick says maybe young blood is the key, right? I'm sure the new Van Halen with Scott Ian and Youngblood. A new version of Van Halen. I think Alex will put out a bunch of music. Obviously, they're never going to tour on it. And who wants to see Van Halen without Eddie Van Halen? They'd be like seeing Damn Yankees without Ted Nugent. That's my Tommy Clark hot take on it. Frank says, I might be wrong, but I don't think I own or ever owned a single Van Halen album. Wow. I definitely owned them on cassette. And I also owned the first 3 on album. I was a big Van Halen fan. There was a point in my life. There's Shelley. There was a point in my life where Van Halen was like my favorite band until them and Billy Squier. I still love Billy Squier. Lorraine says becomes just a cover band at that, right? When you have one original member of the band, or even one member that actually was in the band for a big part of it, yeah, it doesn't. Chaz says it'd be like seeing Metallica without Ron McGovney. Exactly. How can you even? Once Ron McGovney left Metallica in 80 or 81, how do you even go on from that point? Shelley, you've missed a lot of really important conversations about Ted Nugent, about Damn Yankees, about Metallica, Van Halen, a lot of stuff going on here. Am I writing a lot? No, the answer to that is no. Oh, I also did not take anything out for dinner. Just realized. Shelly says, I'll be a good. You know what? Watch it back at least 2 or 3 times. I'll fill you in on all the great conversations we've had and all the conversations that Chad Lutsky is trying to have, but YouTube is like, we're not gonna post that. And Frank says, Shelley. Frank Adler firmly in the number 3 spot. I think I typed too fast for YouTube. Yeah, maybe. I think Maisie's dreaming. She's making like little noises. Here's Charlie, jumps in at number 1 and says, who's number 1? Wow, that's a boss move right there. I got to tell you, that's a boss move. Charlie basically said, I'm the top dog here, and you're all going to bow down to me. Pa-pow. That's what he said. Pa-pow. Who's number 1? Charlie, you know you're number 1. I don't know who you think you're fooling. Yeah, now I'm burping up breakfast burrito and chocolate chip mint coffee. Lorraine says, I can't type any faster with 10 fingers than Armand can with 2, so I'm always lagging behind the conversation. Shelly, I don't know what time the hot dog lady's going to be out there. Maybe we can run by there tonight for dinner. There was literally 30 dudes in line when I went past today, all trying to get a hot dog from her. Oh, here it is. Sunshine's Hot Dogs. Shop race from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. She got a Facebook page, The Hot Dog Lady. She serves Nathan's hot dogs. Apparently, she has granddaughters because their granddaughters are also selling Girl Scout cookies at her truck. But not donuts. Yeah, I was so mad when I walked in. I'm like, where? It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Where's all the donuts? But she said, oh, so some lady came in and just bought a bunch of like 4 dozen donuts or something. Frank, the picture you sent, that's not her. I think that's her mom. Frank says, Nathan's, I'm there. And I said, well, you shouldn't be able to do that. She's like, I know. We told her, hey, next time you want this many donuts, call ahead. So they basically were wiped out by like 8:15 today. I mean, literally every donut gone. I was very mad. We'll try that other place tomorrow. Because then I had to leave there and come here to do this, hang out with you people. So I didn't have time to stop at another donut place. Time to go to Bigfoot's Bear Claws and Brews. Yep. Maybe Keith could do a book signing there when he does all of his Bigfoot books. Hmm. Hmm. Keith says, perhaps. Which is the definitive, maybe. The definitive, yeah, it could happen. Oh, spammers. No, thank you. No, thank you at all. They have to get published first. Yeah, you don't want to do a book signing without, books. I keep seeing like things moving, but then when I look over, it's gone. I keep seeing something else. What is that thing moving? I don't know. All right, so I think I'm wrapping this up in 6 minutes or less. Do 2 hours. And then I got a lot of stuff to do. A lot before my wife comes home. Slave driver. So it's hitting me about the face and neck. She'll be like, go get the toothbrush. Cleaning the grout. This is the life I want to lead. Just lay around. I got the other cat over here. I got both cats that just lay in the room, and then if I get up, one of them might follow me somewhere. But usually they're like, "You're not going anywhere." Where do you think you're going, buddy? I cannot get this salt and pepper song out of my head. Oh. He says, "Crack the whip shell." Yep. It's the only way this marriage works. You gotta push me around a little bit. Get me to do stuff. Bump. I almost did the music for the salt and pepper, but then I'll get in trouble. This news thing says two arrested after $14.5 million in robotic surgical arms stolen from Jacksonville Hospital. What are you going to do with that many robotic arms? Show says that's why your office is so dusty. It really is. It's really very dusty in here. You hire a woman to come in every now and then and clean, but she refuses to dust my office. Oh, I don't want to break anything. You know what? Break it. I don't care. You know, even if you break it, just dust it off then. Ugh. My office is really dusty, though. All right, we got 2 minutes on the clock, and then I'm out of here. At this point, I'm just going through emails. Frank says, Shelly just said get to dusting, right? I'm reading a different thing than you're reading, obviously, Frank, because I didn't read that into that at all. I read, hey, when I get home, I'm gonna dust your room, and I'm gonna do it quietly because I don't want to disturb you. For instance, I find that dust bunnies and I can coexist peacefully. Yeah. Frank says it's right there word for word, but it's how you read it, Frank. See? It's how you read it. That's what. I read it more like a question. Can I help you with this? More than, oh, get this done. Frank says, oh, let me reread it. All right, I'm wrapping this up. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I will not be on tomorrow because I will be doing amazing things with my lovely wife tomorrow, maybe. Sunday, Amanda will be here. I'll be hanging out with Peter Marsh in the morning, getting some writing in. Then Amanda will be here. We'll get some writing in. Then we'll go to lunch. And there's a chance that I will be on a little later on Sunday, but I will definitely be here on Monday. And I'll be on Twitch and YouTube Live, but I ask everyone to be on YouTube Live. I don't even know why I'm even going on Twitch at this point. Frank says, oh, okay, I see now. I was wrong. I stand corrected. What she said was get your ass off the computer and get to dusting, and while you're at it, take out the garbage. She didn't say that because I took out the garbage yesterday. Lorraine says, happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. You enjoy your weekend too, Lorraine? Shelly says, you did not read that correctly, Frank. That's what I told him. Keith says, have a good weekend. You as well, Keith. Frank says, torrential snowstorm up here Sunday, Monday. It's like every Sunday you get a torrential rainstorm, snowstorm. There's a storm. You know what, though, Frank? Sunday, sit around and watch TV. I know those animals, I mean your daughters, are going to go out and shovel it. So you're good. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend.